Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Starladder Season 7. Today we have Day 8 coming at you live here on DOTA Radio. Thank you so much for joining us already. We love each and every one of you out there. Hopefully you're having a good day on this bright and beautiful Saturday. Today we have only one match before us. That schedule got a little crazy after Can't Describe disbanded early on in this event, so unfortunate for them, and playing with our schedule a little bit. Only one match, but we do have a treat for you guys. We've got a team that we have yet to see here in Starladder Season 7, Team Fnatic, facing off against DUZA Gaming. We've seen DUZA, but our familiar faces here on Fnatic will be coming back, and this is really the first time we're seeing Fnatic since TI3. I saw No Tail was streaming a bit earlier today, and I think they've been streaming intermittently, but this is one of the first times we're going to get to see them, so I'm very excited, needless to say. I do have a background in Heroes of Newerth, as many of you are aware, and well, many of these guys on Team Fnatic are also from a Han background, so always interesting to see fellow Han, ex-Han folk, and how they fare in the Dota 2 realms. So let's get right into it. I am slated to solo cast again today, folks, but only one game. It will go easy on your ears. So first bands coming out for Fnatic on our dire side are going to go out onto the Nature's Prophet as well as Bat Rider. An interesting choice. Bat Rider, of course, we talk about a hero that needs no introduction, to say the least. We've seen him banned, we've seen him picked, and we've seen him have that really just intense role in a match early on. But the Furion first ban is interesting. We've seen a little bit of Nature's Prophet play, but all in all, he's been one of those heroes that is no doubt very powerful, but a little bit ignored in some of these drafts. We've seen a lot of teams actually pick him up in that kind of 4th, 5th slot, what have you. Well, I guess we've seen him in the early slots as well, but we haven't really seen him in this first ban category here. Now, DUZA Gaming, they're actually going to break into their reserve time here. Their first ban going to come out onto the Dark Seer, and they're already down to 50 seconds of reserve time, so they're really thinking hard about what they want to do with this last ban, and throwing that curveball of Furion as the first ban is probably making this difficult for DUZA Gaming, and they may be regretting a little bit throwing that first ban out onto the Dark Seer, because Wisp is still on the field, and they're actually going to throw it out on Alchemist. So Fnatic going to first pick the Wisp right away, not a second of deliberation going to be needed. So nice drafting there from Fly. Maybe that Nature's Prophet was a little bit of bait, a little bit of the mind games, so they could get one of those very valuable heroes early on. So EO going to be grabbed, and Outworld Devourer, the next one that was going to come up on my list of scary heroes, still available with an Alchemist Darkseer first ban. DUZA Gaming going to grab that Outworld Devourer, and they're also going to grab Doom as their second pick. So an interesting mix of picks here. Now, one of the problems with grabbing Outworld Devourer first, of course, he's a very powerful hero. He is first pick, first ban material, but you pretty much know that he's going to be going mid. So that does reveal some of your hand, and it will give Fnatic the opportunity to try and counterpick that mid. Now, we've seen Lich work as a very successful counterpick to Outworld Devourer. One of the things that makes Outworld Devourer so powerful is that Astral Imprisonment. Of course, he steals your intellect, and that limits your mana pool early on. For Lich, that's not quite as big of a deal. He has that sacrifice. He's going to be able to get some mana back, and he'll still find ways to harass Outworld Devourer and make his life difficult. Of course, also with sacrifice, denying those creeps every 50 seconds or so, depending on how quickly he levels it up. That denies some of the experience that Outworld Devourer would get, and ultimately that does set him back quite a bit. So we very well may see Fnatic try to use a Lich play here. You can also put a Dragon Knight mid. He works very well against Outworld Devourer just because he's so damn tanky. Usually, one of the things that Outworld Devourer does when he steals that in, it also buffs up his last hit damage. So he's able to harass people out of the lane pretty easily. And Death Knight, if you get those early points in Dragon Blood, it makes harassing him really a futile effort. He regenerates too quickly for it to be effective, and that armor just mitigates so much of Outworld Devourer's early damage. Fnatic, though, gonna roll the dice a little bit as we move into our second bit of bans. They're gonna go with Visage to complement their EO to start things off. So one thing that's great about this draft from Fnatic, again, the two supports, you're not revealing too much of your hand. You know that they're gonna be supporting, but you're not gonna be counter-picking support. So they still have that mid and that hard carry up for grabs. So we'll see what they decide to do with their next set of bans here. And I say roll the dice a little bit because I think if they wanted to use the Lich to counter Outworld Devourer, now would have been the time to do it. This is going to give DUZA Gaming the option to ban Lich if they're really afraid of him going up against OD in the mid lane. Next bans are going to come out, though. Lifestealer going to be the third ban here for Fnatic Gaming, and Clockwork going to be the third ban for DUZA, and both very worthwhile bans. We've seen Lifestealer, another hero that needs no introduction, and how powerful he can be, and as both teams still do need that kind of hard carry role to be filled, I think it's a very smart ban. Clockwork from DUZA Gaming, also a very smart ban. We've seen some very crafty Clockwork play, especially yesterday, and again, I'll reiterate for those of you that aren't aware of what Clockwork can do, other than than just be a prominent force in that off lane and actually have a role in the game as initiation as he starts to get levels and gets a little bit more farm, he can also block the pull spawn by using that rocket. It counts as a unit there, and if you use it on that minute mark, it will block the spawn. So Clockwork can actually get that lane control and block the creep spawn at the pull lane without using any wards. Just mana, no investment whatsoever. So that's one of those things that takes Clockwork from an okay hero and pushes him into that upper tier and allows him to be super cost effective when solo in that bottom lane. I shouldn't say bottom lane, in that off lane. We usually see him in the bottom lane, but in the off lane. I feel like Clockwork is on the Radiant side more often, or the Dire side more often than the Radiant. Maybe it's just me, my isolated sample of matches here from Starladder Season 7. So anyhow, Fnatic going to take their 4th ban out onto Bane, which is an interesting choice because Bane is a very powerful hero, and that makes me wonder a little bit if they're going to be picking a hard carry that they're afraid Bane is going to be a counter to. And they did ban out Lifestealer, and Lifestealer and Bane are two of those kind of heroes that we see on opposite sides of the coin. You see one team grab a Lifestealer, and Bane is a very common pick to try and combat some of the stuff that Lifestealer brings to the table. 4th ban coming out from DUZA Gaming will be on the Razor, so a similar flavor to the Bane, again with that static link, mitigating some of the damage output from those hard carries, making him a very effective tool in that late game. So DUZA Gaming right away, no deliberation, gonna grab Chen as their 3rd pick to complement their Doom as well as their Outworld Devourer, a nice well-rounded team as well. We haven't seen a lot of Chen play. I mentioned that yesterday. He hasn't been getting banned nearly as much and hasn't been getting picked up as much. Of course, one of the problems with Chen, you need a player on your team that has the micro skills to handle him. Very micro-intensive hero, very high skill cap hero. So if you just don't have a player that specializes in Chen, you might not have the opportunity to work him into your lineup the way you want. Fnatic going to respond with a 3rd pick onto Bounty Hunter to go with their Visage and EO. A very interesting pick. Another choice here that we haven't seen a whole lot of in this tournament. So I'll be curious to see what they do with Bounty Hunter. He's another one of these great flexible heroes. You can put him in mid if you need to. You can put him in the top lane if you need to. And you can even put him in a tri-lane if you're into that kind of a situation. So he's super flexible. And I'll be curious to see how Fnatic works him in to the lineup. And I'm still curious what they're going to do against this Outworld Devourer. Lich still on the field here as Fnatic breaks into their reserve time for their 4th pick. They're going to need something to try and go with this Outworld Devourer, and something that I talked about yesterday that I would love to see when we were in between games. Earthshaker going to be that 4th pick coming out here for Fnatic Gaming to complement their Bounty Hunter, Visage, and EO. This is awesome. There are a lot of really crafty things you can do with Earthshaker, especially in that long lane for blocking creep spawns. I saw a post on Reddit how you can pull some creeps into the Ancients, and that's a great way to deny creep experience. A lot of crafty things we can do with Earthshaker to start things off. And again, I'll be curious to see how they lane Earthshaker, because one of his problems is he requires those core items to get going. You know, you need that blink to really give him that effective initiation power to get off a good Echo Slam. Still a lot of utility with Fissure, but it takes him a little while to get rolling. Generally, you see him in that, position 4, position 5 slot. So Earthshaker will be hurting on farm, hurting on experience, and usually we don't see him take off until later in the game. An interesting 4th pick for DUZA Gaming as well here. They're going to pick up Vengeful Spirit to go with their Chen, Doom, and Outworld Devourer. And that's another 3 heroes now in this match that we have seen absolutely nothing of in Starladder Season 7. I've said it pretty much every game, but the variety in this tournament so far has just been fantastic. If you go back and listen to a lot of the matches we've casted so far, there's just this unbelievable amount of variety in hero picks. Even though we have those same top-tier heroes that are picked and banned almost every game, your Bat Riders, your EOs, your Lifestealers, and what have you, we still have all this room for variety, and I absolutely love that about our current Dota 2 meta. 5th ban going to be coming out from DUZA Gaming, and it will be on the Lone Druid as they break into their last bit of remaining reserve time here, and 30 seconds remaining for Team Fnatic. Now, last ban for Fnatic is going to be a Pugna, another one of these heroes that we've seen nothing of. We've seen no Pugna picked or banned, talked about, spit on, or otherwise mentioned. So makes me wonder what's Fnatic going to be doing with that last pick. And I'm going to look over at the Twitch chat. I'm open to suggestions here, guys. This is a draft that I'm not so familiar with. So I do have Twitch chat open, and well, I'll do my best to glance over. Slated to solo cast again today. Always tricky to read and talk at the same time. Timbersaw going to be the last pickup for DUZA Gaming here, so perhaps that Outworld Devourer not going to be going mid as we had originally thought, and oh, there it is. Fnatic going to grab a Morphling for their last pick, so it looks like we'll have a little bit of a blast from the past here to finish us off. Morphling we saw a little bit, at least in one game earlier on in this tournament, but Interesting. I see someone in chat saying that Pugna versus OD is OP. We haven't seen that as a counter pick to OD, so that is interesting. Interesting that Fnatic would ban it as well if that's their last pick. So anyhow, let's take a look at these finalized rosters here as we get into our one match for the day here. Fnatic going to be running an Earthshaker, Bounty Hunter, Morphling, Wisp, and Visage. And I think their roster is a little more straightforward, going to be doing a tri-lane. And is this going to be Earthshaker in the mid, or is Hani going to be going in the off lane here? We'll see where he's going to be, and we'll introduce all of our players once the lanes settle down. On our Radiant side, DUZA Gaming looks like they are going to be settled down. Unstoppable going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit, headed into the bottom lane. Limbo going to be playing the Doom, also headed down here to the bottom lane. And we're going to see Capron on the Chen, who of course will be in the jungle. Right now it looks like he is going to stay on the Radiant side of the map, and will be supporting that bottom kind of tri-lane. In the mid, we will indeed see Outworld Devourer, played by Legion on our Radiant side of DUZA Gaming, and headed up to the top, it looks like Mib the Best, my man Mib, going to be playing on the Timber Saw as he heads to the off lane for our Radiant side. On the Dire side, Team Fnatic, we're going to have Era playing the Morphling, so certainly going to be farming quite a bit. Fly going to be the one to play on the Visage. Looks like he'll be headed in the top lane to support his good buddy Era. In the looks like No Tail going to be playing Wisp, and I think he'll be headed to that top lane. I doubt he'll be hanging out in the mid, but going to see a little bit of initiation down here in the Radiant jungle as we see Bounty Hunter for Team Fnatic moving about, and he doesn't have any wards. Looks like he's just scouting around and just being an irritant in this early start. So who is the Bounty Hunter who's got the funny name? We've got Hani, No Tail, and I don't know these names. I don't know who's who here. I guess Visage is Fly, and Era, okay. Hani, someone is Conj. I feel like this is like something that I should be able to decipher here, but what have you. So, all right, let's see how these lanes are going to settle down. Right now, it is a Wisp in the mid lane. Right now, No Tail is playing Wisp in the mid against Outworld Devourer. So this is beyond strange, not something I ever would have predicted, and I'm kind of curious how this is going to end up working out. I guess Wisp, I don't see how Wisp could be a counter to Outworld Devourer. I have no comment, guys. I have no comment here. Bounty Hunter is Trixie. Thank you very much, folks in chat. His name is all sorts of messed up here on the client, but Bounty Hunter is roaming around the Radiant jungle right now. That is going to be Trixie. Hani is in that bottom lane, and he is doing that fancy work. He's pulling, blocked the creeps, and did take him into the Ancients to get a little bit, to try and get a little bit of farm there. So Hani is on the Earthshaker, and he's moving around. Oh, it looks like their Ancients is blocked. They knew about it. My apologies. So the Dire Ancients are blocked. Hani going to sacrifice that lane. He's just going to roam up to the top with that Earthshaker to try and support his good buddy Era on the Morphling, and of course Fly going to be playing the Visage. Mib the Best on the Timbersaw, though. He's pushed pretty far forward. He's way past the river here on the Dire side of the jungle, and the Dire side of the top lane. And this could be rough. Hani going to come in. He's not going to throw the block. Looking for an opportunity, but Mib is going to back up just in time, and he will be safe for now. Hani's still potentially looking for an opportunity as he moves into the Dire jungle from that top lane through the river, and Mib just getting harassed out of the lane. So Era having a fine time to start things off on the Morphling. Let's take a look at the bottom lane now that things have settled down a little bit. Trixie going to be on that Bounty Hunter, as we mentioned. He is in the off lane now as they've done a little bit of rotating. Unstable on the Vengeful Spirit. Still down here, and Limbo on the Doom. Still down here as well. Right now, Doom, that primary farmer for Team DUZA Gaming, which is also a little bit interesting. They don't really have that traditional melee agility hard carry, so to speak. So with Doom picking up this farm, I'll be curious to see if he goes for that more traditional aura-based Doom build that we've been seeing more and more. The Assault Cuirass, the Vladimir's offering, and items like that. And we're going to hold that thought here as there could be some action up in the top. Mib the Best going to be in some trouble. Hani on the Earthshaker going to throw a nice fissure that will block him in, but the follow-up's not going to be there. Era not going for the kill. And of course, as that happens, we miss the first blood down in the bottom lane. Capron on the Shen going to be the one to grab that last hit on the Bounty Hunter. So Trixie unfortunately going to pay the ultimate price here. They did throw down a Sentry Ward, and it looks like it just caught Trixie a bit off guard. That first blood kill is going to go to Chen, so a little bit of bonus gold for their jungler, and I think that will mean he'll be able to get a slightly more timely mechanism coming out in this first match of the day. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what build Doom goes for as the primary farmer. If he goes for that kind of support aura-based tanky build, or if he does something a little bit different, maybe a little bit more aggressive, perhaps the Shadow Blade to get a little bit more mobility about the map and also have a little bit more damage as well. Let's take a look at some hero farms, though. Still, we've got Wisp in the mid lane, and Wisp going to get engaged, and I think No Tail very well may fall here. Unstable going to roam in with the Vengeful Spirit, going to drop a magic missile, and that's going to be an easy kill. Legion on that Outworld Devourer going to be the one to grab that last hit, and that's going to make it 2-0 here in hero kills, about 3.5 minutes in to our first game of the day here in Starladder Season 7, Day 8. So I'm still a little bit perturbed by this Wisp mid. I don't really know what to make of it. If we look at farm, Wisp is 10-3, and Outworld Devourer right now is 16-4. So Wisp, as we can imagine, not really mitigating too much farm. And I'm still scratching my head. Maybe this is just a case of Fnatic wanted to have a Wisp. They knew that he's a valuable pickup. They needed to snag him in that first pick, but didn't really want to work him into this roster the way that they had originally thought. So now they're forced to put him in the mid lane. And Wisp will come in handy as long as he can avoid feeding in the mid and conceding too many kills here to Outworld Devourer. Wisp will still come in handy in that mid to late game when you can start porting around with the Morphling. And in combination with the waveform, that could actually be quite potent. So let's see here. Doom and Morphling still tied up in farm, both leading the way here, about 25 creep kills apiece. We're going to see down in the bottom lane, though, Trixie in big trouble. They use a dust. He actually dives behind the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane for the Radiant side. He is dusted. He does not have a port, but he is invisible, so he is going to survive for now. The tower, is it still revealing him? No, they can't find him, but uh-oh. Doom going to be able to use the Scorched Earth, and I think that might be all she wrote for Trixie. He's trying to get away, and oh no, Doom going to run into the wrong position. This is so awkward down here for Trixie, stuck behind the tower. He's just going to keep invising, but he's going to have to run by the tower to get out. Chen using a Centaur to block it, and he's going to body block as well. So they know that Bounty Hunter can't get out, and there you go. Chen going to get some vision, going to be able to chip away at him as he runs by, and despite Trixie using a potion, he will be forced to take a bit of damage there. In the top lane, while all that was happening, we did miss another kill. My apologies, folks, as it looks like Morphling was able to pick up a kill onto Mib the best, so Timbersaw did pay the ultimate price up there. Perhaps just stepped a bit too far forward. If we look at, looks like Earthshaker did help out as well, so I'm going to guess he got blocked up. So that's definitely good news for Era. If we look at the net worth chart, he is actually still slightly behind the Doom, who's been free farming in the bottom lane, but not by much. Doom and Morphling still on the top two, with the net worth sitting around 2.2, 2.3k. Right now, DUZA Gaming, though, with Bounty Hunter out of the scenario for just a couple of seconds here at least, they are going to take that opportunity to pressure the Tier 1 tower down here in the bottom lane. It is going to get down to about 500 hit points, and they will back up, so that will make an easy push for DUZA Gaming in their safe lane when they choose to take it down. Item pickups here. Let's see where people are starting off. Doom going to be the first one to grab his upped boots. He does go for the phase boots right away to complement his 3 GG branches and that quelling blade he picked up, last hitting nicely. Era here is going to go boots of speed into the ring of health to complement his ring of Basilius magic stick and a couple of branches himself. So a pretty standard opener for Morphling. I think he may be opening into that Lincoln's. That would be my best guess. We'll see where Era opts to go here. Very popular build, sort of a similar flavor to what they like to do on Weaver. Go that Lincoln's first and then transition into those hard carry type items. The top lane here, they're going to put some pressure on the tower, though. Fnatic wants this tier 1. They're actually going to dive the tower a little bit. Bounty Hunter going to find his way up here. No Tail going to port in, and that's going to be the end of Timbersaw. All 5 of Fnatic right now going to dive the tier 1 tower in the top lane on the Radiant side. And Mib the best, the only one up here, of course, he is going to pay the ultimate price. Wisp actually going to port in. He's going to tether the Bounty Hunter and bring him back to the mid lane. They're going to port to the tier 1 towers. They're going to get initiated on right away, and No Tail on the Wisp is going to fall. Ascenity's Eclipse was ready and waiting for him, and Vengeful Spirit actually going to be the last one, or the one to grab that last hit, pardon me. But bit of a bad port there coming out from No Tail. Very unfortunate. A bit too close, too far forward near that tier 1 tower in the mid lanes. That's going to settle things down now. 3-2. DUZA Gaming still in the lead in terms of tower kills here, 7 minutes in to game 1 of this best of 1 series, as it may be. Gold lead now going in favor of DUZA Gaming. They're up by about 1,500 gold to start off this game, and a comparable amount of experience sitting around that 1,500 mark as well. Obviously, Fnatic not getting quite the start that they want to here. I guess they're just hoping that that Morphling will be able to keep farming the way he is and kind of carry them to victory as this game continues here. They've got a lot of team fight potential as well. Anytime there's an Earthshaker, I got my fingers crossed for some awesome team fight action. See some big Echo Slams coming out. Ooh, so, things settling down a little bit here. Both sides just continuing to farm, and in these short lanes, the opposing long lane towers are starting to take a lot of damage. Limbo on that Doom, now level 6, going to continue to pressure the tier 1 on the Dire side here in the bottom lane. And actually both towers right around 450 health, and I'm sure Fnatic will be looking for an opportunity to press up again and pressure that tower right around that point here at the 8-minute mark, when those towers are going to start to fall, and both teams will be feeling good about reaping the benefits of that little bit of extra extra gold. And yep, there we go. DUZA Gaming going to group up, and it looks like they're finally going to finish off that tower to get the first tower kill of the game, and that will take it 1-0 in tower exchange. Doom going to be the one to grab that last hit as Chen pops out of the jungle for a little bit of extra pushing power. In the top lane, Timbersaw going to be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to get blocked by Hani. He'll be forced into the dire jungle, and then No Tail going to grab onto his buddy Trixie on that bounty hunter. He's going to port to the top lane, and it's going to be a sandwich. All 5 again going to be gangbanging Mib the best on that Timbersaw. So Fnatic really showing a lot of love to that top lane, and I think it's a smart play because we've seen Timbersaw be quite the driving force at a lot of these matches with that early reactive armor, the Timber Chain. He's all over the place. We've seen him mostly in the mid lane, getting fat early on, and here in the off lane, he's struggling a little bit already, 0-3-0. And I think Fnatic sort of showing that they could, potentially that they're a little scared of Timbersaw. They want to make sure they shut him down, prevent him from getting level 6 as long as possible, make sure he doesn't get that experience advantage that allows him to really get scary and hop all over the map with that Timber Chain. We are going to see a smoke up onto Hani, though. He is a level 4 Earthshaker right now, just on those gray boots and 2 Clarity Potions. Classic Earthshaker style here in that position 4, position 5. Hani going to move to the top lane. Mib the best going to be in trouble again here, though. He's going to get caught by the fissure. Waveform forward. Mib is going to survive as they dive towards that tier 2 tower. Doom going to port into the tier 1. Venge going to port into the tier 2. And they're going to be able to finish off Visage. Fly going to be the one to pay the ultimate price. Now the rest of Fnatic starting to come in here. Wisp's going to come in, as is Bounty Hunter, and Morphling's still here. They're going to be able to turn it around. Vengeful Spirit going to die. Now Limbo on the Doom going to get caught in a fissure. He's going to fall as well. That's going to make it a 2-for-1 as now Outworld Devourers here. That's going to be a Sanity's Eclipse. Say goodbye to the Wisp. That's going to make it a 2-for-2, and they're not going to pursue. There's already a mech picked up on the Outworld Devourer, and that's going to be Fnatic's sign to get the hell out of there. Not going to have the damage to finish off that tanky mid-hero. 5-5 here at the 10-minute mark. That's right, 10 kills in 10 minutes. We've got an action-packed game on our hands, folks, and it's pretty damn even so far. Glancing at that gold graph, DUZA Gaming still ahead by just about 2,000 gold. That may settle down a little bit in the upcoming moments here once those last hero kills hop into that graph. Most of that gold coming from the tower kill. Of course, DUZA Gaming still leading 1 tower to nil. I think Fnatic getting eager to pressure this tier 1 in the top lane. It is still sitting at about 450 HP, and there are going to be 3 heroes grouped up back about the top lane: No Tail, Era, and Fly. And right now, that unchecked lane may mean that they're going to be able to grab a nice early tower kill themselves. Chen has been pretty quiet this game, and he actually has a headdress in his inventory as well, which is interesting given that Outworld Devourer already has the mech. Usually we expect Chen to be the mech carrier here, but OD grabbing it does make some sense. It does allow him some more survivability in that early game to transition into the mid and late game a little bit more easily and not have to worry about getting picked off. But Chen already has the headdress, so that makes me wonder, is Chen just going to be going for a fast pipe here? That's going to be kind of the only other option for the headdress, so time will tell what he's going to do. Maybe they'll go for 2 mechs. We'll see. DUZA Gaming group up. All 5 of them going to pressure this mid lane. Fnatic is going to have a response, though. It's going to be a 5v5 engage as Fnatic wants to hold this tower. There's going to be a swap to try and pull Era into an odd position. Right now, Timbersaw the only one to die in this team fight. Fnatic still with everybody in green HP. Whoa, hold that thought as Visage falls. That's going to make it a 1-for-1. Timbersaw for Visage. Right now, DUZA Gaming still pressing forward as Fnatic is forced to back. Hani going to throw a fissure, but it won't be enough to keep the tower alive. Hani will be able to score a deny, though. That's going to take the tower count 2-1 here, as Fnatic was able to finish off that tier 1 tower in the top lane before they came to the defense, and they did score that deny. So it is 2-1 in the way of heroes or tower score. DUZA Gaming leading the way, but 1 was a deny. So really a 1.5 to 1, if you will. Fnatic still trailing by a small gold detriment there, around 1,500 or so, but they're still in pretty good shape. Earthshaker now getting close to that level 6 mark, just a couple more creep kills, and he will ding 6. Right now, he does having some mana issues, but Hani with about 900 gold in the bank, that means he will be able to grab those arcane boots, and that is always a fun time for all of you Earthshakers out there. That's when things just get a little bit more aggressive. Morphling now has completed his power tread, still on that magic stick, picked up a Ring of Aquila, and also has the Perseverance, so he's got that regeneration, starting to hit a little bit harder as well now that he has that bit of extra damage. No Tail on the Wisp has his pretty standard array of items, a little bit of extra farm given that Wisp was in the mid lane, gray boots, a bottle, magic wand, and a Ring of Regeneration right now, probably going to be working towards those tranquil boots. As we see Fnatic all grouped up to take the tier 1 tower out in the mid lane, looks like it may be a tier 1 for tier 1 tower exchange as DUZA Gaming heads to the top lane with their Chen. All 5 of them take out that tier 1 tower in the top lane. That's going to take that tower count 3-2. Fnatic still trailing by 1 tower, and they are going to move to the bottom lane, and they may be able to level that out here in just a moment. Limbo on the Doom is farming away. He's solo down here in the bottom. Bounty Hunter going to be able to throw up a track. There's going to be the port in from No-Tail on the Wisp. Era on the Morphling going to be brought with him. Doom is on the run. Some support's going to come their way. Legion on the OD, as well as Vengeful Spirit going to be here, and they're going to be able to drop the Bounty Hunter as they use a dust. Very nicely played by DUZA Gaming. Great support coming their way, and they are able to turn around and feed another kill to their Outworld Devourer. Fnatic's not done, though. No-Tail was able to port out with the with Era. They're going to be able to catch Chen. Capron going to fall. Now Mib the Best going to be coming in between where that tier 1 would be and the tier 2 on the Radiant side of the mid lane. And Fnatic is starting to push up, capitalizing on the fact that DUZA Gaming used a couple of those valuable ports down to defend the bottom lane and pick off Bounty Hunter. They're going to make the best of it. Head back to the mid lane. They're going to catch the Chen, and there's nothing DUZA Gaming can do. No support came Chen's way, and again, that levels it out here. 7-7 as we're just about to approach that 14-minute mark. Keeping up with that 1 kill a minute rate, always a good sign of a good game. The 14-minute rune is going to be a double damage going to spawn down here in the bottom, and Fnatic is going to go ahead and pick it up, so perhaps that will be their opportunity here to find another kill about the map. Morphling with a double damage is a scary thing at this stage in the game. No-Tail is going to throw it in his bottle and port back to the base, so time will tell what happens with that double damage rune. So far, though, it seems like the EO mid is working out okay for Fnatic. They are still trailing by that small gold deficit, teetering around the 2,000 mark where it's been for the majority of this match. But looking at the hero kills, deaths, and assists chart, EO 2, 3, and 4, so definitely not the worst in the game right now by any means. Right now, Outworld Devourer is leading the way on the DUZA Gaming side of things, sitting 4-0-1. A great place for Outworld Devourer to be, and let's take a look in his inventory. We talked about the mech that he picked up, still on his gray boots, and he's going to go ahead and grab a Staff of Wizardry. I'm going to guess that'll turn into a 4th staff, but time will tell, of course, where he wants to go. In the bottom lane here, the Pain Train for DUZA Gaming coming about. Trixie going to be caught all alone on that Bounty Hunter. They're going to throw down a Sentry Ward. He's going to get put in the Astral Imprisonment, and that's going to be an easy kill. Poor Trixie can't catch a break in this game as he's going to get taken out again to the 5-man Dota action coming out from DUZA Gaming. All 5 grouped up about the bottom lane. They're going to try to pressure this tier 2 tower down here. Hani going to block them off, and that's going to buy some valuable time while his good buddies in the top lane, Era and No-Tail, continue to pressure that tier 2. Crafty plays by Hani on the Earthshaker will allow Fnatic to pick up the first tier 2 tower kill of the game, and perhaps even pose a defense down here in the bottom. Nope, going to sacrifice their tier 2, so that's going to make it a tier 2 for tier 2 exchange. That's going to take the total tower count now to 2 remaining for Team Fnatic on the Dire side, and 3 remaining here for DUZA Gaming. So DUZA still leading by 1 tower in this match as we're about to approach the 16-minute mark. DUZA Gaming going to back up, but Timbersaw going to get left behind. He's going to get caught by Fissure. We'll be able to Timber Chain to get away. So there you go. That mobility from Timbersaw coming in handy in more ways than one right there. We may see some more action heating up down here in the Radiant jungle. Wisp's going to bring Era down here. They're going to make it out just in the nick of time. Doom 1 hit away from finishing off that Wisp as he heads back to the main base, and Wisp actually does end up falling before it's all said and done. And they didn't make it back to the base. They're forced to port back to the bottom. Oh, so unfortunate. And OD was able to finish him off. Hani got taken out in the mix as well. DUZA Gaming able to grab 2 kills in exchange for none here in the Radiant jungle as Fnatic gets caught maybe a bit too far forward. DUZA Gaming with some great teamwork synergy right now. They've been grouped up pretty aggressively here, and it's been a little bit rough for Fnatic. They've been caught in a couple situations where it seems they weren't ready for a 5-man team to come about the corner, hoping to pick 1 or 2 off, and then they get turned around on and get surprised when they don't have that numbers advantage they thought they did. DUZA Gaming now going to move into a Roche attempt. It's going to get him down to about half health, but Fnatic knows it's coming. They've got the familiars from Visage to try and scout it out. The Radiant Courier actually going to get picked off here while all this is going on. Fnatic going to pose a defense. Roche at half health. They're going to leave the pit. We're going to see DUZA force it back up. A nice Sanity's Eclipse going to do a lot of damage. Wisp's going to be the first to fall. He's going to buy back right away. Now Visage in a little bit of trouble. He is doomed, and he's going to go down. That's going to be another kill for DUZA Gaming here. Right now it's a 5v4 as Wisp did buy back. He's going to try to get back into the action. Era in a little bit of trouble on the Morphling, going to be able to waveform away. Wisp in, going to be able to heal him up a little bit, and they may be able to re-engage. Now Bounty Hunter in a little bit of trouble. Trixie going to fall. That's going to make it a 3-for-0 exchange here in this team fight around the Roche pit. Hani going in. There's an Echo Slam, going to do a lot of damage, not going to grab any kills. Era's back in action though, baby. The heal from the Wisp going to allow him to reinitiate, and he's going to pick up a triple kill. That's a cleanup coming out for Fnatic, and now DUZA Gaming on the run. OD and Timbersaw, the only 2 left alive as they head for the hills. Fnatic not only wins the the fight, but also secure the repel from the Roshan kill. I think Fnatic may try and take Rosh for themselves now as they head back towards the pit. A double damage rune going to spawn in the bottom lane here at the 18-minute mark, and that will certainly be Fnatic's green light to put some pressure onto Rosh here. Era with that double damage is tearing through Roshan. They do have a Medallion of Courage as well. It's in the inventory of the Visage, so they are just going to melt this Roshan kill. Very nicely done by Fnatic. He's going to fall, and the Aegis going to end up in the inventory of Fnatic. So here we are, 10-14. DUZA Gaming still leading the way in hero kills, but the first Rosh does go to Fnatic Gaming here about 18 minutes into our only game of the day here at Day 8 of Starladder Season 7. Let's take a look at the gold graph and see where we're at. DUZA Gaming still leading, holding on to that 1,500, 2,000 or so gold advantage. It may dip down a bit if that Rosh kill hasn't updated onto the graph yet. They're still holding on to that little bit of experience advantage that they've had throughout most of this match as well. Let's take a look at some of the item pickups here. OD on the Radiant side of things has grabbed a Force Staff to go with his mechanism. We see Doom has moved into the beginnings of that Aura build I was talking about. Does have his Drum of Endurance now to go with those phase boots. And he does have an Ogre Club as well as the remaining pieces of that BKB in the bank. So a BKB going to be picked up nice and early here for our level 11 Doom on the Radiant side. On the Dire side of things, we do see some big item pickups as well. We mentioned Fly with that Medallion of Courage, allowing them to take out that Rosh kill so easily after repelling DUZA Gaming. Now Morphling has picked up his Lincoln Sphere, also going to be able to move straight into a Yasha, so that Morphling's starting to get a bit more scary as well, with those right-click auto attacks as well as his survivability. And of course, it does have that Aegis of the Immortal in the inventory to go with his Ring of Aquila, Power Treads, and Magic Stick. Era already off to a great start in this match. Bounty Hunter, unfortunately, doesn't have much in that inventory to speak of, sitting with Power Treads, his Bracer, as well as the Orb of Venom, Magic Wand, and Bottle. It's a pretty minor spread for a Bounty Hunter here at the 20-minute mark. You always want to see him with a few more items than that, and he hasn't had the most luck this game. Poor Trixie's just been getting picked on. Right now he is sitting 0-4-4, definitely not where he wants to be. On the flip side though, Era on the Morphling is 5-0-0, so 5 kills already on the board for Morphling. I think it's safe to say that he is going to be a scary force here in the upcoming moments, as he already is a force to be reckoned with. Right now here at the 20-minute mark, both sides playing a bit more passive. Fnatic is just hanging out on their side of the map, farming away in the jungle, and really DUZA Gaming doing the same thing. They were playing that 5-man Dota strategy quite a bit, and it seems they've backed off to farm a little bit more and get that next round of core items up. Chen now has picked up the Hood of Endurance to go with his Arcane Boots and the Headdress. He did go Headdress first, but the mech is in the inventory of Outworld Devourer, so that's really the only item left to do with that Headdress. Very early Pipe going to be coming out in the inventory of Capron on the channel. That's going to be interesting. Pipe is a very powerful item, of course. It does assist in the pushing potential of your team, as it does apply to creeps as well. It does help prevent some of that creep clearing potential that your opposition may have. But rushing Pipe is not a strategy we've seen all too frequently in this tournament here. DUZA Gaming, though, just as I say, they're going to give up on the 5-man Dota. All 5 of them group up, and we see them here in the mid lane. They want to take out this Tier 2 tower, one of 2 remaining Tier 2 towers for Fnatic Gaming here, and we're going to see Fnatic group up a little bit in the bottom lane. Right now, it's actually just Bounty Hunter and an Illusion, and Wisp going to take Era to the top lane. So a little bit of split pushing happening while we see Fly and Hani in the base for Fnatic, getting ready to defend, to try and bide some time, perhaps get some split push action. And right now, Wisp still not too eager to port back. Era and No-Tail pressing forward. Looks like they want to pressure that Tier 3 tower in the top lane, but nope, here it is. The port's going to be used. The Glyph going to be used by Fnatic as well, as DUZA Gaming starts to push up. They start chipping away at that Tier 3 tower, get it down to just about half health, and Fnatic's going to appear in the base. We now have a 5v5 in the mid, but that will be enough to repel DUZA Gaming. All 5 of them going to head for the hills. Will one of them get caught as they head out? Nope, doesn't look like it. They will make it back to their side of the map. Hani is smoked up on that Earthshaker, though. He's running around the side, going to make it down near that bottom rune. He does have a Blink Dagger now. Again, this is when Earthshaker really starts to get exciting. He's got Blink, he's got level 8, and he also has those Arcane Boots. So he is going to head down to the bottom here. He's going to meet up with Era on the Morphling, and they're going to engage onto Doom. Hani going to blink in, going to use the Echo Slam. Era going to come by with the Waveform, actually not going to connect with Doom. Doom going to use the BKB as he heads back to the Tier 2 tower. 2 ports coming in for support. EO now here. Visage with Familiars down as well, and Limbo is going to fall. EO actually going to be the one to grab that last hit. Very nicely done with those Spirits to get that long range and grab that last hit. The fight will ensue now between the Tier 2 and the Tier 3. Fnatic diving a little bit here. They do manage a kill on the Vengeful Spirit. Era going to be the one to grab that one. He is going to waveform away. We're going to see Bounty Hunter caught in an Astral Imprisonment, but he is going to be able to make it away as well. Tier 2 tower in the bottom lane, still standing with a lot of health, and uh-oh, now Era may be in a little bit of trouble. Doom gonna use the Doom ulti on him. Era stuck, silenced, can't use spells, can't use items as he heads for the hills. He will be able to survive the dot cooldown, but not much he can do at the moment to be an asset to the team. Wisp gonna come, there's the tether. Era trying to do everything that he can. The healing from the Wisp coming in huge here. Era gonna waveform away, and that's gonna be a kill on Outworld Devourer. A huge bounty going to the EO to end that unstoppable streak. It's looking bad for DUZA Gaming here as more support comes in for Fnatic. Timbersaw now gonna fall. Doom gonna fall shortly after, and Chen on the run. He's in the hot pursuit. He's gonna fall as well. That's gonna make it a 4-0 right now. Venge, the only one left alive for DUZA Gaming. A triple kill coming out for the Morphling on Fnatic's Era. Amazing plays by Fnatic right there. The Wisp coming in handy. Era dipping down to the double digits, but the heals on the Wisp too much for the opposition to handle as now No-Tail forced to head for the hills. Needless to say, Fnatic going to be able to grab this tier 2 tower in the bottom lane for DUZA Gaming, and that's going to take the tower count to be dead even, 5-5. Glyph going to be used for our Radiant side, but it will just delay the inevitable. No defense going to be posed as the tower is sacrificed and does go down. Era on the Morphling going to be the one to grab that last hit on the tower for a little bit of bonus gold. That now takes us 16-14, 24 minutes into this match. Fnatic now leading by 2 kills for really the first time in this match. The gold graph was on the side of DUZA Gaming up until just a few moments ago, and it's now dipped way in favor of Fnatic Gaming by just about 5k gold and a comparable amount of experience. Fnatic not even going to back up here. They're going to catch the Outworld Devourer. He's going to get caught by a fissure. Mech going to be used as the waveform used for Morphling. Morphling did burn the Aegis in that last fight, I should mention as well. He's also picked up that Manta style in the interim here as we start to engage. So another fight going to ensue right outside the bottom tier 3 of DUZA Gaming. DUZA Gaming trying to defend. No one's down quite yet, but they're retreating into the base, and they're going to dive. EO going to suicide to be able to finish off the Timbersaw, and Era stuck in the base. He's going to go for unstoppable. That's going to be the end of Venge. Looks like Fnatic going to take a good fight here. They've only lost 1. They've taken out 3. They're diving the base. The tier 3 tower doing a lot of damage here, and it's going to pay off. They're going to be able to finish off Outworld Devourer. An instant buyback going to be coming out. Doom in big trouble as he moves to the tier 4 towers on the other side of the throne. It's not going to matter though. Fly going to catch him on the Visage, and he's going to fall. Outworld Devourer's buyback is up. He's going to be able to clean it up a little bit. Morphling going to fall. Bounty Hunter going to fall. Now Visage going to go down as well. Hani, the only one left. He's trying to suicide. Is it going to happen? He will. He's going to prevent the ultra kill from coming out. Outworld Devourer, though, with a triple kill. The YOLO from Hani. There you go. So a nice cleanup from DUZA Gaming. Fnatic Gaming there, perhaps getting a bit too aggressive. I think they could have just pressured that tier 3 tower. There was no glyph up from DUZA. They used it to try and save their tier 2 just a few moments ago. But Fnatic opting for the greedy play to dive into the tier 4 towers and pick up a couple of kills. That buyback from Outworld Devourer, by far the most cost-effective buyback in this match, as he does pick up a triple kill. Wow, so a nice, exciting back-and-forth game. Fnatic, although despite diving the well here, still leading 21-19, 26 minutes in, and they are still leading by a nice gold and experience advantage, somewhere around that 7,000 mark here. Roche going to be coming up in just about 3 minutes, so still quite a ways off that next Roche kill. Let's take a look in the inventories, though, and see what our favorite heroes have managed to pick up. Pardon me. We do see Hani on the Earthshaker continuing to be in good shape here. He's now level 11, which is great news. That level 2 Echo Slam is a huge pickup for Fnatic right now. He does have the Blink Dagger and Arcane Boots, as we mentioned, and does have the Staff of Wizardry as well as a Ring of Regen at the moment. That means he will be going for that Force Staff, no doubt, to give him a little bit more mobility as well to complement that Blink Dagger. At the moment on Bounty Hunter, we do see that Drum of Endurance and Power Tread combo, and he also does have 2 Mithril Hammers, which means no doubt that Desolator going to be coming into play before too long here. Era on the Morphling continuing to farm very nicely, does have his Manta as well as the Lincolns, and going to move straight into a Ghost Scepter. So the Shotgun going to be coming out here on the Morphling. Other item pickups, we've seen the Mechanism on EO. He also now has his Urn of Shadows complete, as well as the Bottle and the Magic Wand. So all that regeneration when he's tethered, giving it to his good buddy that he's sharing a soul with. That's come in handy several times in this match, as we've seen. It has kept Era alive and allowed him to turn around a couple of team fights already. So all that regen that Wisp was able to buy nice and early on in this match because of that farm he picked up being in mid lane really paying off. We see down here at down here at the top lane in the Radiant base, Era Era by himself really just going in. He's going to pressure this tier 3 tower and drop it very quickly. Mib the best going to come in and try and defend, but he's going to fall as the rest of Fnatic makes it to the party. Their tier 3 tower in the top lane going to go down. Still no glyph available for him, so they're forced to just sort of watch their structures die. Doom getting very aggressive here. He's going to try and put some pressure on the Wisp. Outworld Devourer as well. The rest of DUZA Gaming moving out of the base, and they are going to pose a defense here. Right now, it's only 3 in the top. No Tail, Era, and and Trixie on the Bounty Hunter. Fly and Hani are in other lanes. They're in the mid right now trying to press up and perhaps take out the last remaining tier 2 tower for DUZA Gaming. But nicely done right there. Era just moving up, recognizing he has all that damage, and is going to be able to drop that tower in just a matter of seconds thanks to the illusions from that Manta style. That is going to give Fnatic the tower count lead here. They're leading by just about 1 tower, 6 to not just about, exactly 1 tower, 6-5 here, 28 minutes in the tower score. That top lane of Rax is exposed for DUZA Gaming. Fnatic looking very aggressive here, though. They're all still grouped up about the mid lane. I think they do want this tier 2 tower, and they are going to engage. A long fissure going to connect with Doom. Doom going to be in big trouble. Will get thrown into an astral imprisonment, and that will keep him alive. And oh no, Era going to dive a little bit too deep, and he's going to be taken out. Morphling will be the first to fall in this fight. Timbersaw, though, will be the second. That's going to make it a 1-for-1. Fnatic up against the ropes, though. They're headed for the hills. Hani did drop that Echo Slam, but he gets taken out. That's going to make it a 2-for-2. Fly on the Visage could be in a bit of trouble. Down he goes. Now Wisp trying to clean it up. Limbo on the Doom with 50 hit points to spare, but he does make it back. Wisp going to be forced to retreat. Is the Bounty Hunter down here? Will he be able to finish him off? No. Bounty Hunter in hot pursuit as well. And oh, beautiful play from Capron right there. Going to use the Satyr, the Tormentor. He's got that shockwave and does a blind shockwave onto the invisible Bounty Hunter to finish him off. That's going to make it a 2-for-4 engage. DUZA Gaming with a response showing they're down, but they're not out yet. They may be trailing by 10,000 gold, 5,000 experience, but they can still win a team fight about their tier 2 tower in the mid with big plays coming out from Capron on the Chen there. So Fnatic just overcommitting a little bit. I think Morphling got caught a bit too far forward. Unfortunately for Era there, I think he underestimated the amount of damage that DUZA Gaming can put out, and they dropped him like he was hot. He was the first to fall in that team fight, and he is the main damage dealer for Fnatic Gaming. So you can imagine any team fight where Morphling dies first, Fnatic is going to have a hard time coming back. Roche is going to respawn here at just about the 30-minute mark, and DUZA Gaming is going to move into the pit. Fnatic knows about it, though. They're going to hop in. Morphling, as well as the Whip's going to come straight in. That's going to be the end of Chen, but now they're in hot pursuit. No Tail very well may pay the ultimate price. Down he goes. That's going to make it a 1-for-1 here, down by the Dire Ancients. Hani's going to make it into the battle. He's going to throw a fissure, and Era's still in it. He's trying to do a lot of damage here. He's taking a lot of damage as well. Going to be forced backwards. He is going to survive for now. That's going to be a 2-for-2 here as Timbersaw and Visage get taken out. Hani headed for the hills. He's taking a lot of damage from that Outworld Devourer, running into the Roche pit, ready to try to deny himself. Uh-oh, is Limbo gonna fall? No, he's gonna stay alive. Doom getting dangerously low. Hani gonna blink up, will throw a fissure down, not gonna be enough damage to finish him off. So again, Fnatic not really coming out ahead in that team fight, exchanging a 3-for-2 and hero kills, but they do deny the Roche. Roche at about half health. DUZA Gaming forced to back up. We're gonna see Era just head right into the pit and start chipping away at this Roshan, down to about 30%. DUZA Gaming not gonna pose a defense, so that's going to be it. It looks like Fnatic will be able to grab the second Roche kill of the game. Very nicely done. Aegis of the Immortal going to end up in the inventory of the Morphling, who has now also picked up that Ethereal Blade to go with the Manta style and the Lincoln Sphere. So a little bit of a sloppy team fight for Fnatic perhaps, but it did work out for him in the end, as they do get the Roche kill. We're all tied up here, 26-26, 31 minutes in. We were talking about 1 kill a minute. We've got almost 2 kills a minute on the field here, though. It's been one hell of a match. Absolutely no complaints coming from me. We're going to see more initiation here as No Tail brings his good buddy Era down to the tier 3 tower for DUZA Gaming. The Aegis is going to be burned right away as he ports right into the team. The pipe going to be used by Chen, and they're going to try to engage here. Hani going to fall. This is looking bad for Fnatic, perhaps getting a bit too aggressive here. Looks like they grouped up, wanted to pressure that tier 3 tower in the bottom lane. They do get a couple of last hit, or a couple of auto attacks off on it, but DUZA Gaming with a great response. They're going to repel, and not much Fnatic can do about it. They will pay the price of Hani on their Earthshaker. So a little overcommitting there. Fnatic playing a little bit sloppy this game, I must say. They've had a lead for themselves. They're still ahead, but they don't need to suicide into the base quite like that. I mean, they can group up, play a little more cautiously, and just pressure these towers. That's now the second time after they get the Aegis within about a minute. EO ports Morphling somewhere. Morphling gets obliterated the second they port in. The Aegis gets burned, and then they all run away. They're 2-for-2 now. with the Aegis. So Fnatic needs to play just a little bit more careful here. I think they're obviously still in great shape in this game, still leading by about 9,000 gold, but they need to be a little bit careful here. DUZA Gaming will start to get a little bit more scary as this game continues. Outworld Devourer is a force to be reckoned with as he continues to level up. He's now level 20, and you got to remember, as that gap between his intellect grows over the opponents, that Sanity's Eclipse gets more and more deadly. He's not going in heavy int build at the moment, though. Does have Mech, Force Staff, Powered Treads, and the Black King Bar. So going for that survivability, a much needed item here for OD, but not going to be that heavy int build that allows that ult to do a huge amount of damage. Also, the Lincolns picked up on the Morphling will help to mitigate that a little bit instead of going for just those straight hard carry items you may see on something like a Lifestealer. There's going to be a smoke here for DUZA Gaming. All 5 of them going to smoke up and move about the Radiant jungle, or pardon me, they're going to move about the Dire jungle as they try to make something happen. Fnatic is all spread out about the map right now. No one's in the jungle, but they do have No Tail on the Wisp and Era on the Morphling in the top lane, and they may get engaged on here as the smoked up DUZA Gaming continues to head up. It's going to be a sandwich. I think at the very least here they may be able to catch the Wisp. Era going to be able to port out. No Tail. He's going to move into the trees. He does not have a port in the inventory. Needs to be a little careful here. He's going to do some fancy work, and he is going to be able to survive. No problem. So there you have it. The smoke not going to work out for him. And Wisp is invisible. Pardon me. I was like, how is he doing? When Wisp is invisible, he looks the same as he normally does. So he's going to be moving about the heroes there, and No Tail going to be just fine. He's going to be solo in the top lane. He is scouting it out for his teammates here. And they do see him. They threw down a sentry ward. There's a dust. No Tail on the Wisp going to be in big trouble. He is distracting too, though. Right now, Chen and Venge are in the top lane, while the rest of Fnatic is in the bottom, grouped up. Well, 3 of Fnatic minus that of Fly. I thought they may have an opportunity to pressure this tier 3, while 2 of them are up top trying to finish off Wisp, but it's not going to happen. Wisp just going to die, and now DUZA Gaming going to pull ahead a little bit here in hero kills, 28-26 at the 34-minute mark. Let's take a look at inventories here. What else has been picked up? Visage on the Fnatic side of things is going to move into a Rod of Ados, an item we don't see too often, but a good pickup here will give Visage a little bit of additional survivability and going to give him that crippling slow, which will help as Fnatic continues to pursue DUZA Gaming when they're running away. Nice item choice there on Visage. Desolator has been completed on the Bounty Hunter, who has also hit level 16 now, does have the Drum of Endurance and the Power Treads as well as the Magic Wand. Having a Bounty Hunter on the team is definitely part of the reason Fnatic is leading by 10,000 gold right now, despite the fact that they're trailing by just about 2 hero kills. Bounty Hunter is quite powerful. That's what he does best, especially now at the level 16 mark. Other items on the Dire side, Hani has finished his Force Staff. I think he grabbed that a while ago, of course, to go with his Blink. We did mention that mobility that he has picked up. Era has made another executive item choice here, as he has picked up another Ultimate Orb to go with his Manta Style, Ethereal Blade, and Lincoln. So what else is left with Ultimate Orbs here? I know there's the Sheep Stick. What's he going to grab? I guess it's going to be an Eye of Skadi coming out next. I hope that's the right pronunciation. I always said Skadai, but people said that I said that word funny. So we're going to say Skadi here. Eye of Skadi going to be coming out for Era to be his orb effect here in this game. For those of you throwbacks there, oh, I love those old words. Attack modifiers, doesn't roll off the tongue the same way the orb effect did. Oh, I miss the old orb effects. I miss orb effects stacking with lifesteal. Oh, that was fun, huh? Back in the day. Anybody remember that? That was a good time. So, Satyr, fuck, the Tormentor. Yeah, I have trouble with some of the names. Every so often you catch one of those words where you're like, you know, I don't really know how to pronounce that one, so I'm just going to wing it here. We are going to see another smoke from DUZA Gaming, though, on a more serious note. They're going to be in the Radiant jungle this time as they venture about. They see the Bounty Hunter down here in the bottom lane. Looks like they want to grab a kill onto Trixie. They're going to use a Dust, and that's going to be an easy kill. Timbersaw going to finish him off. It's a 5v1 gangbang onto Trixie in the bottom lane of the Radiant jungle. So now DUZA Gaming going to have a 5v4 here, and that will repel Fnatic. Fnatic looking for opportunities to pressure in. Of course, we can't forget that they do have the tier 3 tower down in the top lane. DUZA Gaming does have exposed racks in the top, and that will give Fnatic an opportunity for an easy push if they can take a good team fight here. But they are just farming about the map. I love that DUZA Gaming is staying aggressive. They are using those smokes very aggressively to try to find opportunities to pick up some kills. In the mid lane, that tier 2 tower is still remaining for DUZA Gaming. Fnatic doesn't seem too interested in grouping up to try and finish it off quite yet, as now they're just clearing out the Radiant jungle, farming away, and just trying to get that next set of items and wait for the opportunity when they can break into the base. Perhaps Fnatic is waiting for the next Roche kill, but it's going to be some while. They're going to be waiting for another 3 or 4 minutes at least. They burned that last Aegis almost almost right away. So if that's going to be their golden ticket to move into DUZA Gaming's base, we may be here for a while, watching both sides continue to static farm. More items have been picked up on the Radiant side. Doom has moved into his BKB. I think we may have talked about that much earlier on, and now he's going to be moving towards that Assault Kuras. He does have the Hyperstone, Plate Mail to go with, and Plate Mail, pardon me, to go with the BKB, Phase Boots, and Drum of Endurance. So moving towards that Aura build. Does have one Aura creep in him right now, the 30% bonus damage from the Pack Leader's Aura, and also has that Critical Strike. So very standard Aura stuff happening there on Doom. Timbersaw going to be able to make his first big item pickup here. Going to be forced to break his Arcane Boots to grab that Bloodstone as he goes back to his Grey Boots, his Cloak, and also a Poor Man's Shield to complement that Magic Wand. So Mib the best, starting to get a little bit more beastly, but that feigns in comparison to what Era's now picked up. The Eye of Scatty going to be grabbed, and that's going to be a scary pickup here on Morphling. Not the most crazy of item pickups, but it works so well here because I did talk about, as this game continues, Outworld Devourer is going to be more and more of a counter to these non-intellect heroes. But right now, Morphling, with all those items, is sitting on 115 intelligence, and Outworld Devourer is only at about 130 himself. So that's really not a big gap. Having these tanky items like Manta Style, Lincoln Sphere, and Eye of Skadi, that's going to drive me crazy. He's pretty tanky. He's got a lot of intelligence. A great build from Era. It also makes him scary. I mean, he hits damn hard right now, hitting for just about 300 in auto attack, and of course with that passive slow now. Era is a force to be reckoned with. No doubt about that whatsoever. Have we seen any other items that we need to go over here as both sides just continue to static farm about the map? Another one of these situations where DUZA Gaming very comfortable in their jungle, and actually Fnatic is a little bit far forward here. We see Bounty Hunter again pushing this bottom lane, and Hani hiding in the trees, ready perhaps to counter-initiate if they hop on his good buddy, that is Trixie, while the rest of his team continues to farm away on the dire side of the map. So there may be an opportunity down here for some initiation. Trixie needs to be very careful. There is a sentry down. It's just now going to fall. He's going to be able to get a track up onto Timbersaw, and that will give DUZA Gaming the valuable give Fnatic the valuable bit of vision they need to know where DUZA Gaming's at. Going to be able to throw a track up onto Outworld Devourer as well, furthering their vision. Hani going to go in. He's going to blink forward. That's going to be a fissure. Wisp going to come in with Era as well. They're going to try and drop the Timbersaw, and oh, down he goes. Era going to be able to grab a last hit, and that's going to finish him off. Pipe going to be used now as DUZA Gaming tries to go on the aggressive. It's a 5 versus 4 at the moment, and there it is. Wisp going to go back to the top lane with Era. They're going to go for the racks. They're going to make it happen. Glyph's still up. It's going to be used. The melee racks with about 300 hit points. This is the power of the Wisp right here. You can take a team fight and then go right back to the lane. Era doing a ton of damage here at level 22. He attacks like a machine, and that top lane of racks is going to fall for DUZA Game, and nothing they can do about it as they fell like butter to a warm knife. And now we're going to see Morphling hop forward here. The shotgun going to be used as he finishes off Chen right outside of the well. They're diving the tier 4. Down goes Timbersaw. Era is a madman right now, dropping the Vengeful Spirit, but he's going to be forced to back up. No Tail with very low health as well, going to be able to use a charge of that urn, going to be able to use the mech as well, and Era's going to be back up to full health. He's going to reinitiate. He's going to go back in, waveform in, going to catch the Outworld Devourer. Tether going to stun him. The mech and BKB going to be used. It's not going to be enough though. Now Limbo going in. Era just obliterating DUZA Gaming right now. He has single-handedly destroyed their entire team. Double kill and a mega kill streak coming out for our Morphling here. He's now level 23, 5.3k gold in the bank. In the bank, pardon me. Buyback's going to be used for DUZA Gaming here, and they're going to try and repel. It is still 29-31 in hero kills. Fnatic leading by only 1 hero kill, but they are pressing forward. Era is just too powerful now. The Morphling cutting through everything DUZA has. They're now in the well, diving the tier 4 towers. Fnatic cleaning it up. Venge going down. Timbersaw going to fall as well. Buyback coming out from EO as he gets taken out. Visage going to be able to finish off Doom. Is Visage going to go down? He will, but it's going to cost him an Outworld Devourer. Era now diving the well. He don't give a fuck, to say the least. The GG's come out. Only 1 lane of racks is down, but that's going to be all she wrote. 4 dead from DUZA Gaming. All the buybacks going to be used. Chen going to be the only one left alive. The GG well plays come out. Fnatic going to be able to take out DUZA Gaming here after 42 minutes of gameplay. 35-31 after one hell of a match. Fnatic showing us some of those old school hero picks like the Morphling hard carry, still viable in today's meta. Nicely played, and my hat goes off to you, Era. Level 25 Morphling ending the game 19-2 and 14. Quite the showing for our Dire side. Well played by DUZA Gaming. Very back and forth match, but unfortunately at the end, the Morphling just got too out of control. Too tanky and too much damage coming out. And again, guys, we got to see a Wisp solo mid today. Not too often is it that you get to say you saw a Wisp solo mid, and it worked. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen.